Hi, everyone. I'm John Pocoroba, founder of the annual Blue Sky Investing event and one of the leaders of the Boston IBD meetup. This year, I presented my research study on the 55 greatest winning stocks from 2003 to 2020. There was a great response from the attendees to purchase the study and learn more. So I thought I would give the opportunity in a very short video here for many others to see what the study entailed and see if it actually interests you. The study is broken up into a 100-page report, and I'll go through some of the parts and pieces of this to share with you what really you could expect. The first thing the study does is it shows a chart of the NASDAQ and where the greatest winning stocks broke out. You'll notice that many of them are breaking out right after the follow-through day when we had a bear market. Here's the 03 market rally. Right here we see this is the financial crisis bear market, and you'll notice all the great winning stocks that broke out in the ensuing bull market. And the second part of the chart is from 2012 to 2020. Again, follow-through day, and you can see the clusters of some of the greatest winning stocks in this time period through multiple bear market, bull market cycles. Now, the study really focused on 4 particular areas. There's a tremendous amount of data around the breakouts, the bases that developed, what were the breakout day gains, what kind of volume was there to look for. In addition, there's a section of the study that studies closely the first 8 weeks after the breakout to understand what we call the post-breakout thrust. What was the action at the 10-day, the 21-day, and the 50-day moving averages? Was the relative strength line at new highs before price? And was there a correlation? In addition, we studied what we call the initial move. When a stock breaks out, how much did it run up before it had its first meaningful pullback of 12%? And how long did it take to get to a 20% gain or a 25% gain? The third major part of the study is focused on the 10-week moving average. The study defines very detailed rules to help you with managing a stock around the 10-week moving average. What's a meaningful break? What rules will you use to determine if you should sell at the 10-week moving average or hold? How many breaks occurred in the big greatest winners? The fourth piece of the study examined the sell signals and the topping process for every stock. There were 13 common sell signals from the group. Which month did they top in? What characteristics did they show? And in addition, we compared the results to 2 other market cycles. Myself and Aaron Blank and Mike Kincaid from the Boston Meetup Group have done 2 other model books, the 2012 to 2015 market cycle and the 2016 to 2018 market cycle. And we used those as benchmarks to compare the data between the studies. This is an example of some of the rules for what defines a 10-week moving average break. It's in the study. There's lots of data tables and graphics within the study. As an example, things you will see are Excel spreadsheets categorizing all of the grunt work to come up with all the data and all the measurements that were done in order to understand the greatest winning stocks. I'm an architect, and one of the things architects love to do is take data and turn it into pictures. So you'll notice that I, in this study, came up with numerous graphics to try and take spreadsheet data and put it in a usable format that could be helpful and easy for you to digest. Here's an excerpt of one data table related to relative strength. It looks at the breakout data, it looks at the relative strength line, and it looks at, is there a correlation between relative strength hitting a new high before price and the gain that that stock made in its run? So there's numerous analyses like this in the study. We try to summarize what were the gains by base type. Did different bases have better or runs that lasted longer than other bases? This is a summary chart for the breakout run statistics. And what this tries to do is look at the percent move of the breakout run, the number of days, what's that first pullback look like of a 12% minimum, how many days did it take, and how many days did it take to get to a 25% gain. Here's another excerpt of a chart that looks at the top 10 stocks in the entire study and what were their statistics in terms of how many of them held the 21-day moving average during the first 8 weeks. How many of them hit a 20% gain in less than 3 weeks, which is typically known as Bill's 8-week hold rule, and other data around these top 10. There are summary insights that try to boil down some of the major findings in the study. There are 3 pages of insights, and this is a sample page where you'll see that we've taken some of the key things we learned about bases, some of the key things that we learned about the initial runs and pullbacks on a stock in the first 8 weeks, and there's 2 other pages of summaries. In addition, there are chart annotations for all 55 stocks in the study. Here's an example of what you'll find. There's a daily chart showing the stock and its base, analyzing it, how it broke out, and what were its characteristics during that first 8-week period. Then there's also a daily chart showing the topping process. It analyzes some of the things that were happening, what were the sell signals, what were clues that maybe this stock was topping. There's an analysis. In addition to that, there is a weekly chart of each stock that shows the entire run from initial breakout, ultimately to the top. And you'll notice that every 10-week moving breakup on the weekly chart is analyzed to help us use the rules to say, was this a sell point and why or why not? And was it a hold point where it says either do not sell here or sell using rules. So these are very helpful charts to help you really understand what a model book stock looks like, as well as how it behaves around the 10-week moving average in your quest to find the next big winner. In this case, Coupa Software went up 899% in only 161 weeks. I mentioned there's some data points that we measure against other studies. This is just one graph, bar chart that actually shows a comparison of the gains to the peak from the 2012 study, the 2016 study, and the greatest winners study. And how many weeks did it take? Obviously, these bars for the greatest winners are superior bars because the greatest winners, these are the best of the best. And there are numerous other data points in the study comparing this market cycle to these winners. So if you're interested in the full research study, a good summary beat would be this. It's a 100-page study. It's in full color. It's indexed. There are 55 annotated charts, as I mentioned, covering the base, the run-up, and the topping signals. And you'll get all the data tables, the detailed data on the first 8 weeks post-breakout, the breakout data, pullbacks to the 10-week moving average, and the topping process. You'll see some benchmark data to previous market cycle data, and summary of the insights, including graphic tables and charts. We're making the study available as an electronic PDF. If you're interested in the study, you will also be invited to a private Zoom call on Wednesday, November 17th at 8:30. And we will take all your questions and comments that you have on the study, and I'll share some more detail. If you can't make the call, but you purchased the study, the call will be recorded and you can view it at your leisure.